If he loses, there's something to be said for being a part of the finals 10 times. And then there is the other aspect of being 3-7 if they lose this go around for LeBron's legacy.
So we're going to go in a negative town. Okay. The Lakers are minus 400 favorites at William Hill U.S. Sportsbooks.
Heavy favorite.
Heavy favorite. It would severely hurt his legacy. I mean, it's his basketball legacy. I think there are things he's doing off the court that will forever put him into the greats category. He will always be considered the greats. Things like more than the vote that he's doing off the court, the businesses he's been able to build. Obviously, basketball-wise, he's one of the greatest athletes, greatest players we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. But you have another top 5 player on your team. And with the teams that were left in the bubble, look, I don't care what people say, and I know there's a lot of jokes, and I know it didn't really work out. I know Doc Rivers and things of that sort. But the Clippers were, if we had a regular full season with the talent that the Clippers had, they were probably the best chance for the Lakers not to win.
Yeah, they're not there yet, though. I understand what you're saying.
So, exactly, that's my point. That's exactly my point. They aren't there. They aren't there. So the best team with the best favorite, the best odds to be you, they're no longer in the picture.
Not our fault, but I understand. Keep going.
So if you don't win this title now with the Miami Heat, if you're thinking like the Miami Heat has Duncan Robinson, who played D3 basketball, right? Now he's a starter in the league, really good player. Tyler Hero, rookie. Jay Crowder, kind of like journey guy, defensive guy, can make threes here and there. Bam Adebayo, all-star, but still very young, right? Jimmy Butler's the one guy like, okay, Jimmy Butler, but he's still not in the same conversation with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So I think if you lose this game.
You mean the series, not the game?
The series. Yeah, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be not only for Lakers.
But Jay Will, man, I hate to say it like this, bluntly and overly aggressive. He's not going to lose. He's not going to lose.
I don't think they're going to lose either.
I'm not saying that from a fan standpoint. I'm just saying it because he's on a different type of mission, much like 24_ whatever what he's saying.
The podcast guy.
Yeah, the podcast guy. 100%, man. He
I'm
cannot afford to lose.
But that's not the question.
There's so many people that are rooting for him to lose. If he did lose, the question is about his legacy. It would just be one of those deals where you would go, damn. That's the way I would look at it. I would just say, damn.
So
he really just lost. It wouldn't change what I think about him as a basketball player. It would change what I think about him up against other great players. The Kobe Bryants of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Magic Johnsons.
That's why I said, yeah, it kind of severely would hurt.
It would change that conversation. Not the conversation is he the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Not that. It just would change the way that I would view that clutch. Would Magic ever let that happen? Would Kobe ever let that happen? Michael 6-0 in the finals would never let that happen. That's the way I would view it, and that's the only part that would change for me. Is that part of it? Is now he's aligned with them, right? For the most part, he's aligned with them.
They're all sitting
across.
At the table together.
Yeah. Yes. So now he may have to pull that chair slightly away and wait for the people to come to see if he get back at the table.
That's the biggest part, though, Key. Like, that's not the small sliver, but that's a massive sliver. That's what LeBron James is playing this game for. He's even said he's considered himself the greatest. Like, he has that mentality, right? He has that mentality. So I think they're going to win it as well.
Of course.
I think they're going to win it in 5 or 6, right?
Anything could happen, right? We Golden State was up on them. A couple people got hurt. Bam. Golden State was favored to beat Toronto. Some things happened. Bam. I get it. All those things can happen. I'm just saying, though, as far as his legacy goes, as a basketball player, all of that kind of stays. What he's been doing in terms of the movement and more than a vote and just everything in his non-basketball career, great. But when you align him with the greats, which that conversation is consistently being had on a daily basis on shows across the country, I personally now have to remove him, consider that they lost. I'm going to have to move him from that conversation.
So then the narrative becomes that he has underachieved, right? That's what the narrative is.
So
if they lose, which is crazy to say, because obviously he hasn't underachieved with all the accolades that he's been able to accomplish over the course of his career. He's still one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But then you start going through all the scenarios. Okay, like he won 2 championships in Miami. It felt like they should have won more in Miami. Just what it felt. I'm not saying it was right or wrong, losing to Dallas, then losing to Spurs, right? So felt like they should have won more. He got one in Cleveland. Okay, he came to the Lakers. Like, this is another one that if they don't win, they should have had. They're by far the favorites. So then you start talking about, like, LeBron James. Okay, he's won 3 chips, but ultimately he's underachieved if they don't win.
No, it will certainly feel like he's underachieved severely if they don't win. And one of the reasons is we went out and we got what you wanted. We went and got AD. We put a team around you, and we gave you the keys to the car, and he didn't deliver in the end, which for me being an LA guy, and I kind of know the way LA people feel about the situation, we're waiting for him to deliver that championship. That letdown, what were you going to ask me?
What would Lakers fans think if he doesn't close the deal?
If he doesn't close the deal,
because you guys, it's a different breed than everybody else, right?
I would think that plane might have to get gassed up and go take a vacation for a little bit, because we would be let down severely because there's so much at stake here. And you hate to put everything on his shoulders, but when you say you can carry it, and I could do this, I could put it on my shoulders and do it, and you give us that belief and that hope that this is you're going to deliver a championship and all of those sort of things, and we really buy in and we start to feel it and we see it's right there, and then you lose to a team that does not have a top 5 guy on it, does not have the talent of the top 2 guys. Jimmy Butler's not in the top 5.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.